Hello soulmates, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial video, we're going to be teaching you guys how to cut this beautiful two-step gather McMill dress. If this is what you're interested in, please keep on watching and let's get started. Before we get started, this is the part 1 of the tutorial video. Please click on the subscribe button so you get notified when we upload the part 2, which is going to be the sewing tutorial. Today we're going to be doing pattern drafting and cutting, so let's dive right in. So now I've already gone ahead to rule out all my vertical lines. The first line is our shoulder line, our chest line. The next line is the chest line. The next line is the under bust line. Sorry, the bust line, then our under bust, and then waistline. So as I'm ruling out the line, I used my tape rule to tell you all the measurements. So now we're going to be taking our shoulder measurement. Shoulder measurement is 15 divided by 2, which is 7.5. We're going to be marking 7.5 on our pattern paper. And then we'll also take the same. Now we'll take our neck width, which is 3 inches, even though we're not going to be using it, just as a guide. And then we'll come down on the shoulder point by 0.75 to rule out our shoulder slope. So you rule out a straight line from that. 0.75 we came down by to meet the neck width. So we'll also take the same 7.5 we took on shoulder measurements on our chest line, and then I'll use our straight ruler to rule out a straight line. This is going to serve as our armhole. So get our armhole, how we got our chest line to be 8 inches. Mine is 8 inches. From the shoulder to the chest line is 8 inches. So how I got it, I divide my round bust measurement by 6, and whatever I got, I added 1.5. So now we're going to be taking our round bust measurement divided by 4, which is 9.5. I mark it, and then I'm going to be dividing the armhole line by 2, and then at that point where I marked, I will go in by half of an inch. If you don't understand what I'm saying, just look at what I'm doing, you will get it. So I'm going to be using my curve ruler now to draw out our armhole curve, as you can see. And then for my vertical lines, from my shoulder to my chest line is 8 inches. So my bust point is 9.5, under bust is 13, and then my waistline is 16. So now I'm going to be taking our nipple to nipple measurement. So mine is 8 divided by 2 is 4, so I took out 4, and then I use my ruler to draw out a straight line. Now we're going to be taking our dart. We're going to mark in half an inch on both sides of the dart leg. Then we're going to connect it to meet the bust point, as you can see me doing. If you are watching the video up to this point, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, click on the subscribe button, and drop a lovely comment. So now we're taking a round body measurement. I've already taken out my bust divided by 4. I added 2 inches for seam allowance for the waist. I marked my waist circumference divided by 4. I also replaced that and also added extra 2 inches for our seam allowance. So now we're going to be using our curve ruler to draw out our body shape, as you can see. So after doing that, the next thing we're going to be doing now is to draw out our McMill. So on the chest line, I went up by 1.5. You can try to go up by 1 inch or 2 inches, depends on how curvy you want your McMill to be. And then on the sides, still on the under bust line, I went up by 1 inch. So I'm going to be using my curve ruler now to draw out my curve. So just look at what I'm doing. I'm using my curve ruler to connect from that 1.5 inches I went up by to my dart point on my other bust line. So I'll also connect from that 1 inch I went up by on the sides, as you can see, to also meet the dart leg on the other bust line. So that's how it's going to be. So the next thing we're going to do now is to determine our new neckline or our new chest line. So for me, I went up by 2 inches. You can go up by 3 inches, 4 inches, depending on how revealing you want yours to be. I went up by 2 inches for mine. You can even use the chest line depending on how revealing you want to be. So you can work with anyone that suits you. Then I'm going to be removing half an inch from my chest line. Sorry, I use 1 inch. Yes, I remove 1 inch just to prevent gaping at the front. Yeah, you can use 1 inch, you can use half of an inch. I use half, 0.5. Yes, I did. I use 0.5. So now we're going to be cutting this out. Just look at what I'm doing. Just look at how I'm cutting it out. So you do the same. The upper part is our cup and the lower part is the band. So I'm going to be cutting this out now. Just look at the areas I'm going to be cutting out. So I'm trying to close the dots on the pattern paper so that I will not be taking in any dots after when I'm sewing the dress. Now we're going to be cutting out our back piece. First thing I'm going to be reeling out is our zipper line on the back. I use 1.5 for my zipper. Sorry that the video is a bit blurry. I didn't know that it was blurry. I'm really sorry, guys. Thank you for understanding. So I'm taking my vertical measurements. So I'm going to be reeling them out now. From the shoulder, I came down by 8 inches for my chest line. And then for my bust point, from the shoulder, I came down by 9.5 inches for my bust line. And then for my waistline, I came down by 16 inches from my shoulder. So that's what we're using. That's our vertical measurement. Now we're going to be taking our shoulder measurements. So I'm using 7 inches on my shoulder measurement and then 3 inches on my neck width. And then I use 0.75 for my shoulder slope. I'm going to be using my ruler now to connect it together, as you can see. I also mark, so I'm going to be connecting from the shoulder to the bust line, to the chest line, sorry, to get our armhole curve. I already explained this earlier when we're doing the pattern drafting for the front. So just basically what we did in the front, I was doing now for the back to draw out our armhole curve. I'm taking my round bust circumference divided by 4, and then I mark, and then I'm going to be using my curve ruler to just draw out my armhole curve, connecting all the 3 points together, as you can see. So the next thing we're going to be doing now, we're going to be taking our darts, our nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4. We'll take it on the bust point, and then we'll take it on the waistline, and then we'll use our ruler to connect it with a straight line. Then I'm going to be taking 0.5 on both sides of the dart leg, and then we'll use our ruler to connect everything together, as you can see. So now I'm going to be taking our round bust circumference and then add 2 inches for stitching allowance. Take round bust waist circumference on the waistline, replace the dart that we took earlier, and also add 2 inches for sewing allowance. And then we use our curve rule to get our body shape. Then after doing that, the next we're going to be doing is we're going to be going up by 2 inches for our, that will be our new neckline, just like we did when we're doing the pattern drafting for the front. So we go up by 2 inches, and then I'm going to be removing 1 inch for the back on our neckline. Removing 1 inch, and then I'm going to use my curve ruler to draw out a new armhole from that 1 inch I went in by. So that is it. So I'm going to be reading out a new neckline. So for the neckline, I just make a curve from my armhole down to my center down to my chest line, as you can see. So just make it a little different, and then I'm also taking out 1/2 inch for my zipper on the waistline to avoid zipper bulge or to prevent zipper bulging. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to be cutting it out. Just look at where I'm cutting and then you do the same. So now this is it. Here's our front piece, our back piece, and all. So now we're going to be doing the slash and spread. Slash and spread. So I marked 0 points. I marked 1.5 inch each. Then I rule it out. 1.5, 1.5, another 1.5. Then I'm going to number it 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then I'll use my arrow to connect so that I'll know when I'm doing. This will serve as a guide when I'm arranging the paper on, or when I'm spreading it out on the bigger pattern paper. So I'm just going to use my masking tape to hold all the pieces down so that it won't tear when I'm cutting it. So I felt that this other one was too big and I decided to cut it more a little bit, as you can see. So this is the fresh pattern paper that I'm using for my slash and spread. For the spreading, I'm using 3 inches each, as you can see, so that the MILKMAID will be very full. You can try to use 2 inches, or you can try to use 1.5 for your spreading. Depends on what you want, but I use 3 inches for mine. And depends on the amount of fabric that you also have. So this is what it looked like after I was done spreading it. So now I'm going to use my ruler to rule it out on the line like this. I'm going to be adding my stitching allowance on the paper before taking it to trying to trace it out on the pattern paper, and then I'm going to be adding 1.5 at the upper part. Why am I adding these extra inches is for us to pass our drawstring through. So our MILKMAID dress will have a drawstring, so I'm adding that 1.5 so that we use it to serve as a casing for our drawstring. So I'm done. So I'm cutting it out. Just look at what I'm doing now and do the same. And I also added 0.5 inch at the down parts for the joining of the MILKMAID to the under bust or the lower part of our dress, as you can see. So we're done with our pattern drafting. Let's go over now to cutting out on our fabric. So now I've already placed it on my fabric. I folded my fabric into 2 because we're cutting 2 MILKMAID, as you can see. So this is me cutting it out. So remember to add 1/2 inch at the upper parts for the joining as well. For the back piece and for the front piece, I cut double of it, so that because I'm going to be using the same fabric for the front and also for the lining. So I'm cutting the first step of our gathers, and then I'm also going to cut the second gather. The second step, the first one was about 26 inches long, while the second one was 13 inches long. So this is the second gathers. I also cut 2 pieces of it, one for the front and one for the back. So the next thing we're going to be cutting now is our sleeve. So the sleeve was about 10 inches long. So we're done cutting out all the pieces. As you can see, this is for the sleeve, 2 pieces of it, and then this one is for the gathers, the first step and the second step, and our sleeve. So this is the back piece and the lower part of the front. This is how it's going to look like when we're done with the sewing. Please click on the subscribe button so you get notified when I upload part 2. See you guys in my next one. Bye.